What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. Now, let me get into this video about Francis Ngannou and some things that he said. Now, when you lose a fight, no one looks forward to losing, you know. But when you lose a fight, people tend to say things differently depending on how they lost. Example, when he didn't get the decision against Tyson Fury, he was smiling. He said, everybody saw the fight. They know that I won the fight. And I know I won the fight. Then he started calling himself the best boxer in the world because people in boxing, they deemed Tyson Fury the best heavyweight. Okay. Even though he hasn't beaten AJ, he hasn't beaten Usyk. He hasn't beaten a Joseph Parker. Okay, there's still guys out there that you have to beat these guys that are the best guys before you can. Now you can say, you can have an opinion and you can say who you think is the best. That's all fine. But they went in so far as to even, he's the greatest fighter of all time. He would have beat Ali. I mean, when I heard Teddy Atlas and all these guys even saying this, I said, these guys are, they're on the bandwagon, man. He's 6'9". I don't see how Ali would have been able to deal with this. Oh, Mike Tyson's too short. I mean, all of a sudden, here's a guy who still has more to prove, who still doesn't have the best resume in the division. Joseph Parker, Dillian White, and Anthony Joshua has a better resume than Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury beat Dillian White. You understand what I mean? So we know that Tyson Fury has some skill. But people are still, even after his performance with Ngannou and AJ's performance, Tyson Fury's movement, like they asked Otto Wallin, they're talking about the movement, his boxing skills, and the footwork. What world do you live in? You've not seen Tyson Fury use footwork and movement since he fought Deontay Wilder. When he fought Dylan showed you that he doesn't have a sharp ring IQ. He didn't know how to do anything other than just throw wild, slow overhands that were missing by a mile. And Fury saw, okay, this guy has nothing. So, depending on what type of style you have, Dillian White can give you a good showing. But he showed he couldn't get past his reach. He didn't know how to do anything. He couldn't figure anything out. Just putting his hands up, lifting his knees up, running in, standing in, do absolutely nothing. And as usual, get knocked out with the one punch. He just don't know how to avoid the uppercut. Now, with all that being said, y'all, I'm listening to Francis Ngannou talk, and mind you, when he lost to Fury, he was smiling and everything, making videos. He want the rematch. Everybody knows he won. Like I said, called himself the best heavyweight in the world. And, he said he can't argue with the referee's decision. He can't, the referees didn't see it that way, but everybody else knows that I won. Okay, cool. A lot of people thought he won. There's people that said they thought Fury won. That, Now, my assessment of that fight is real simple. It wasn't a whole lot of shit going on in that fight. The anticipation, because of all of the talk about how hard Ngannou hits, is what happens when he connects. When he dropped Fury with that tempo shot in the third round, now it becomes, can he knock Fury out? What happens if he catches him again? Fury's throwing the overhand, right, but he's looping it, he's missing it, he's not landing it flush. He's worried about getting hit, and you can see he was on the defensive doing much of nothing. Now, For you to be the best heavyweight in the world and you can't figure out how to beat a fucking novice because you didn't train properly for a novice shows you this guy is not the fighter that you all try to make him out to be. Fury can fight, but Fury has his flaws that people fail to acknowledge. The bottom line is this. He took the loss to Fury much better because he walked out of that having people on his side believing he was robbed. He's not taking the Anthony Joshua loss well. This had nothing to do with judges or referees. He got dropped 3 times and got knocked out cold. AJ did what he was supposed to do. AJ did, once again, what Fury couldn't do. Just like AJ did against Wallin what Fury couldn't do. Ignorance, blindness, hatred, being naive, people fail to look at the facts. I give you my opinion based on the facts. So, if I say who I think is going to win, it's my opinion. If it comes into fruition, then it becomes a fact. Don't knock a person because they have an opinion. No. I always tell people, we'll see. If you are going to look at what a fighter does in the ring and act like you don't see the flaws or act like you don't see the skills or the thing that you see what you want to see, let's put it that way, and you overlook things, well, if you look at the fight itself, there wasn't much of anything really going on. A lot of feinting, stutter stepping, one punch at a time, a lot of holding, like nothing. Well, I'll tell you what. When you saw Anthony Joshua land that big bomb on him from round 1, you saw the speed, the snap in his jab. Like I said in the last video, if you watch how Anthony Joshua, if you watch how he was snapping his jab, compare his poise, his composure, compare his poise, compare his confidence, compare, his ring generalship to his Usyk fights, and you can see, he was not here like he should have been against Usyk. This wasn't the same AJ. So the losses to Usyk, the fights with Franklin, the fight with Hellenius, the fights with Wallin, the different trainers, all of these things came into play. Yes, the ups and downs rebuilt Anthony Joshua. The fact of the matter is, it rebuilt him. And that's what people want to overlook. Now, when I hear Ngannou say, let me say this before I say that. It's not Ngannou that's talking shit. It's the people. Within boxing, within the MMA community, it's all of these guys. Like now, they're all eating crow, but making excuses as to why he lost. They can't just say AJ was the better man. Now you got some that it just, hey man, I didn't know AJ was going to do it that way, So, but the majority of them, it's only his second. Oh, stop it. Now for Francis, he said he knew that it wasn't going to be his day. Like, I don't want to take anything away from AJ. But I just so the time things you just know it. I just knew it wasn't my day. So he's saying before the fight even happened, before he went to the ring, he just knew he wasn't gonna win. Like it wasn't his day. I'm gonna tell you what that is. Like I said before, that's the realization. Same thing you heard Terry Norris say. Sugar Ray Leonard say about the Terry Norris fight. He said he knew when he was walking to the ring he was gonna lose. That's the reality setting in of who you're getting ready to get in the ring with, and you start to realize, I think I bit off more than I could chew. Also, if you notice, when the question is asked about what was different, I heard Radio Raheem asking this question. What was different with AJ than Fury? Ngannou could not give you an answer. He couldn't give you a breakdown. He said, I I don't want to take anything away from AJ. I just want to but it just wasn't my day. He was just a better man on that day. But see, you're speaking as if you are on the same level with AJ. It just wasn't your day. You see, people want to overlook all the dynamics of the fight with Fury. People want to overlook Fury's massive inflated ego and how he slept on him and took him lightly, but he's not the guy that people say he is. Why do you think Fury gave AJ and Usyk such a hard time to actually make the fight happen? Why he came up with these stupid, ignorant, out of this world little ultimatums to sign a contract and all? He knew what he was trying to do. Okay? Well, for Ngannou, you knew, like Dewey Cooper says, they knew AJ was dangerous. And I'm going to tell you what part of this is, okay? See, people like Ngannou's attitude. He's not a big shit talker. He wasn't being a big shit talker, put it like that. At least in this time around in this boxing game or whatever. But he was talking some shit in terms of calling himself the best heavyweight in the world because he beat the best heavyweight in the world and, things of that nature. Now, if Anthony Joshua starts saying he's the best MMA fighter in the world because he beat, Francis Ngannou in the boxing ring, MMA guys would lose their mind. And all of the MMA guys, oh, well, it's still, you got to give the guy credit because look at what he did, what he accomplished with Fury. No, this had to do with Fury. Let's look at what happened with AJ, right? But you see, because of all the accolades that people give Fury and all the hype jobs that they put around him, but you see, the thing about boxers, they will never fight us in the octagon. So nobody cares about your bullshit octagon. And I like both sports. I do both. And you know why nobody will fight you in your little bullshit octagon? Because you motherfuckers don't get paid shit. That's why. That's why. And the reality is, you motherfuckers accept the fights with boxers because you know you're going to get paid more money in your life. You're going to make more money in a boxing ring against a top guy than you'll ever make in your whole fucking career. You can fight MMA for 55 fucking years. You won't make that. You won't make $120 million. You're not going to make $50 million. You're not going to make that kind of money. That's why y'all take the fight. And it's always the excuse after you get your ass kicked about, well, I'm not an MMA guy. Well, shit. I'm not a boxing guy. I'm an MMA guy. Well, shut the fuck up talking shit about boxing. You guys are the arrogant ones that get mad when someone says boxers are the best fighters on the planet. I beg to differ. They don't know how to fight off their back. They don't know. You guys make this about you. You guys try to use the name of boxing and talk down on it and try to convince the world that you could beat a boxer in a real fight or unsanctioned fight, or if it was MMA rules, anything goes. You guys with the massive egos. This is why. And this is one of the reasons you guys want Clarissa Shields to fail. Why? Because she doesn't come from an MMA background, and you guys are so childish and ignorant that if she beats a bona fide MMA fighter, then damn, then that it's like a boxer beating MMA. No, they're not supposed to beat us. Shields is a bona fide MMA fighter on the rise. How good will she get? Only time will tell. But she's dedicated to the shit. She didn't come into MMA to say, I just want to show you a boxer can beat an MMA fighter. It's two different fucking sports, and she's in there fighting MMA. And you ignorant people don't even respect that. One, her skin color pisses people off. This black woman, this big mouth black bitch coming here running her mouth talk. No, one, that's what pisses y'all off. Two, okay, is because she actually take the shit serious. So win, lose, or draw, she didn't tuck her tail and run. She came back. And she's hanging around, she's sticking to it, and she's applying herself. And you're too stupid, racist, ignorant, just dumbass people to say, you know what, man, she come into this and she's doing her thing, man. Who are more arrogant than MMA fighters? And you got the nerve to say she talks a lot of shit? You motherfuckers had Ronda Rousey. You motherfuckers got Conor McGregor. Mike Perry, all these the Diaz brothers. You talking about people that talk shit. But you know what's so funny? Holly Holmes comes from a boxing background. But you don't hear these people giving Holly Holmes that type of shit, right? And you know what's funny? Who she said her favorite boxer is? Floyd Mayweather. Give him all the homage and praise in the world. Yeah. Yeah. And she was one that had something to say. Like you see, for example, see, this is why I mean about you big mouth, bitch made motherfucking men out there. And I'm talking to all of you podcasters, all of you content creators that talk all this shit about Shields. I don't give a fuck if it's Showbiz, the adult. I don't give a fuck if it's Dante's Boxing Nation, if it's Boxing Ego, whoever. All you soft, flat-footed motherfuckers walking around here talking shit. But you know what's funny? Because Ronda Rousey, oh, Shields need to stop it, man. She said, told her she could beat Keith Thurman. She told her she could be the man. Yeah. Ronda Rousey said she destroyed Floyd Mayweather in a fight. And not one of you motherfuckers went out your way to make videos telling her she need to stay in her fucking place. She's tripping. Floyd would beat her ass. No, 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 no. You motherfuckers sat back and watched this woman say she could beat a man. And you had nothing to say. But you want to fucking jump on Clarissa Shields because she says she thinks she can beat a guy. Huh? Dana White, okay, he made the same claim. Ronda Rousey would do this to him. Ronda Rousey would do that to him. Well, I'll tell you what, y'all. Holly Holmes fucked Ronda Rousey up. And you want to know something? They didn't try to roll the royal red carpet out for Holly Holmes. They was kind of mad because it's like, damn, she derailed the plans we had for Ronda Rousey. And the fact she comes from a boxing background, she wasn't bred as one of us, but she got treated differently. When Amanda Nunes beat her, the same thing. You wasn't supposed to beat Ronda. This was Ronda's comeback fight. Do you see any other fucking boxing female? Paige Van Zandt. That's about it. Do you see these other boxing MMA females being on the posters or magazine covers, doing photo shoots in bikinis and no, they was trying to do with Ronda Rousey what initially would have been with Gina Carano over in Bellator, because they were starting to try to, Gina Carano was becoming this, like, in other words, they don't see Cyborg or Nunes or Holly Holmes and these women as sex symbols, but they was trying to push Ronda in that direction. A sexy, fighting, badass chick that can do both and all this. She's a lover and a fighter. That's what they was trying to do with her. And that got derailed. And then when Conor got his ass kicked, they lost their two top stars, where it's like, okay, now we got to find somebody else, got to find a replacement. She went to go wrestle. Now, Francis Ngannou has a contract with the PFL. He's no longer with, UFC. But for Francis, when you say you knew you was going to lose, it just wasn't your day. But I don't want to take credit away from AJ. You can't take credit away. But what I would say is, as a man, just take it on the fucking chin and understand you got your ass whooped. That's all. AJ was the better man. He won. That's that. See, I'm pretty sure there's fighters that get butterflies and feel nervous or concerned, maybe even have doubt in the fight, and then come back and wind up winning. So when you go through that but you win, you don't bring up, oh, I knew it wasn't going to be my night. No. You won the fight. You did what you had to do. That's all. In your case, you didn't get the job done. So if you guys knew how dangerous AJ was from the very start, well, then you shouldn't feel any kind of way. And you should have that same mentality that you had when you lost to Fury. Why? Look, man, I went in there with a guy who won as a former two-time unified champion. Was the hottest ticket in boxing, was the hottest heavyweight in boxing. And here's the reality, though. You see, AJ showed respect to Ngannou. Ngannou showed respect to AJ. I remember I read a comment and somebody said, notice how AJ ain't talking shit to Ngannou, asking him, do he got a problem and all that and whatever. I said, Well, you notice that Francis Ngannou is not talking shit either. You understand? He's calm and relaxed. Talk about how he's still learning in the ring and he's going to process everything. Once he get in the fight, he's going to process. And I said, see, this is my point. Yes, you do have to do that because you have to make adjustments in the ring. But the point is, that's even a lack of experience. Why? Listen at what he's saying. He have to process everything in the fight. He doesn't have enough experience to go into the fight, know how to nullify shit. He doesn't have the boxing IQ. He doesn't have these things. Do you understand? And like I told you guys, he's not a boxer. He's not a boxer. Okay? He has some boxing understanding, boxing knowledge, and some boxing experience. But he's not a boxer. Let me ask you all a question. For all these fucking people talking about how MMA guys get kicked and elbowed, how many fucking MMA guys have you seen with Parkinson's? How many MMA guys do you see walking around? Right. And you think that this part of your foot slapping somebody in the head or they throw... Man, let me explain something to you guys, man. When you get punched in your fucking chin, when you get punched in your fucking temple, you get punched in your eye, you get punched by people who repeatedly throw these same combinations every day. They train every day. They know how to get that torque behind it. They know how to get the shots off. It's different in a boxing ring. See, if you put a strong MMA guy in the ring with a boxer that's not really a big puncher, well, yeah. You look at that and go, his punches aren't even hurting this guy. This is the ignorant mentality that people had thinking AJ was going to go in there and wasn't going to be able to hurt Ngannou. You guys actually really truly thought that Tyson Fury was a harder puncher than Anthony Joshua. When was that even up for debate? When was that even a question in anybody's head? And I said, yeah, you see, cocaine is a hell of a drug. Rick James told you motherfuckers, man. This talk about what a guy can and cannot do, just to end up having a guy that was supposed to win get his ass not just a little but got cooked and then ends up saying it just wasn't his night. If you fought Frank Sanchez, it wouldn't be your night. If you fought Efe Ajagba, it wouldn't be your night. If you fought Jared Anderson, it wouldn't be your night. If you fought Joseph Parker or Zhilei Zhang, it wouldn't be your night. Do you understand? The guy is green, but he got in there. He was allowed to skip the line for the sake of making money. So they're going to build him up to be everything that he's not, because people are going to pay for lies and fabrication just to go, man, I thought this motherfucker was going to beat AJ, man. They said this, yep, they lied to you. They tricked you with all that big talk. Francis Ngannou said he's not going to quit. He's going to come back. Okay. Well, if you guys are going to allow him to skip the line again, if you guys are going to put him in a fight that he didn't deserve, like example, you have a guy like Andy Ruiz who's been trying to get Wilder in the ring and he couldn't. Wilder's saying, no, you're asking for too much money, you know, right? Let's just say, for example, a fight with Wilder and Ngannou actually happens. If Wilder himself right now is in rebuild, in that rebuild stage, and he's been fighting well over a decade himself, how in the hell is a guy with only 2 fights in a position to now I fought 2 of the very top heavyweights? Now I'm going for a third guy. He doesn't need a rebuilding station. No, he's not even in a rebuilding station. He's in a building station. He's still in the fucking basement. Okay? So if this motherfucker got 3 floors, he haven't made it to the first floor yet. He's still in the basement. So here's the deal. If for some stupid reason, well, we know, but it's not happening. Let me just say that. But if that would be the case, and let's say they throw him in there with Wilder and say, okay, man, we put you in a position to get 3 huge paydays. Now, what can come out of this is either Wilder knock you out, and Wilder's not a good boxer, so it might just be a back and forth. Who knows, right? Or 2, you might just knock Wilder the fuck out. And now you're right back in the conversation again. Well, see, that's the camouflage. This is why I picked Joseph Parker to beat Wilder. A top-level guy against a guy who basically is very limited, but was able to get as far as he did as a one-trick pony. For Deontay Wilder, if he somehow ends up in the ring, and see, if you think about it being a situation of redemption, you know, I don't know, maybe Turkey might look at it that way, just to have Wilder and Ngannou on the card, figuring it'll sell because now they both at a crossroads, right? What seems weird about it is for Wilder to be at a crossroads and he's 40-something fights in versus a guy that it would only be his third. How the fuck are you at a crossroads and this is only your 3rd fucking fight? To where you're actually at a crossroads with another guy that's a former world champion. What is supposed to happen if that was to be the case is Malik Scott need to be like, Wilder, if you got to grab that motherfucker by his shoulders and shake the shit out of him, man, listen. Look, man, we need you to start doing things that you've never done before because we need you to go in there and do what AJ did. Knock this motherfucker out. Don't play with him because at the end of the fucking day, it does you no good to go in here and go 6, 7, 8 rounds with this fucking guy. Even if you win, we need to be sharp on point and get him out of here. And they're the same fucking age. That's what need to happen. And Wilder would need to beat the fuck out of him. So it's like, no, AJ already put you in the fucking coffin, but your fucking ghost came back. So now we're playing Ghostbusters. We got to get your ass out of here once and for all. But what does that do for Wilder? Nothing. Now, the only difference is they're both coming off of a loss. So if that would be the next fight. The way Sheik talks, I believe he cares about giving people their money's worth. And I feel like as of now, he's been using, some good judgment. He's been using more good judgment than it's been on the upside than the downside. Let's put it that way. But that fight does nothing for Wilder. And especially right now, it doesn't matter. Why? People built this guy up to be more than what he is. I told you, AJ beats him, is going to be excuses about his lack of experience. But all before that, he's the Incredible Hulk. So now, what does it do for Wilder? What does it do? 1, AJ's far better than people give him credit for. 2, Ngannou's not as good as people thought it was saying he was. I've been telling you guys this. For Ngannou, he doesn't have enough time to start from the very bottom. The problem is, in fairness, he should. And in reality, he done got 2 massive paychecks. How do you have him start from the bottom, put him in a fight, and pay him what he wants? And he's the A side against someone who more than likely will still beat him anyway. So when people say, even though, AJ destroyed him, there's other guys he could beat. Okay, are the top guys? Who are these guys he can beat? We can look at AJ, ups and downs, and we can have a clear understanding as to why he's dangerous and why basically all he needed was redirection to get his confidence back. That's all. We can look at Wilder, look at his ups and downs and say he never had the boxing skills that he should have had, but for what he knows how to do, they'll give him certain opponents that he can come in there and Wilder's back because he goes in there and get the early knockout. We can look at Fury, any of them. What do we go by with Francis Ngannou? Oh, he went the distance with Fury and dropped him, blackened his eye. That's what we go by. Not enough. Not enough. So when I'm listening to Francis talk, I'm saying, Francis, you lost a fight to a guy that's far better than you are. It wasn't just like on last night. It was on any night. He's just better than you. I told you guys this is going to be a different fight. And there were some people that said the same thing I was saying, that AJ is going to be a much bigger test than Fury. And I can give you every reason as to why. And I did break some of those things down, if not all of them. But bottom line is, you see the outcome. That's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence. And whoever is a cash cow, whoever's a megastar and bringing in the money, that's where a sport wants to go. But at the same time, what's good financially is not always good for the sport itself. So there's, like I said, there's no hard feelings, no malice towards Ngannou for taking advantage of opportunities that was given to him. But he does not belong at the top level of the sport. He need to work his way up like everybody else. But he's 38. That's his fucking problem. That has nothing to do with anybody else. That's his fucking problem. It's not fair to everybody else that's busting their asses and being overlooked simply because they lack the star power, even though they have the skill. So I'm glad that AJ took care of business like he was supposed to. It's as simple as that. Now, in terms of Francis, saying that it wasn't his night, Francis, if they put you in there with the top guys, you're going to be saying that shit multiple times. It just wasn't my night. It just wasn't my night. It just wasn't my night. You don't know enough to fight elite level guys. That's why. Now think back to when I said that shit that Fury did was disgraceful, man. And this is a shit stain on boxing. You see what I was talking about now, don't you? And you see how the MMA world is trying to make excuses for Francis, right? So remember, once again, when Dewey Cooper said, "The fiery fighting fist of Francis Ngannou will stop Anthony Joshua." Like he said, well, now I have to eat crow. Yes, you do. Now, Dewey Cooper's a solid trainer. He understands both sports. Ngannou's his guy. Let me ask you a question. If Dewey Cooper was training Anthony Joshua instead of Ngannou, do you think he'd have been saying Ngannou was going to win? No, he'd have been saying AJ's going to win. Let's use common sense. But for you guys that get sucked in and believe the hype of what people say, I keep telling you, man, open your eyes. When you listen to somebody, listen to a voice of reason. Don't listen to fans. Fanboys will tell you who they want to win. They will give you their opinions as if they're facts. I can only go on a fight-by-fight basis. Consistency is what I look at, and like I said, we've been watching AJ go through a rebuilding stage, y'all. It's not a magic moment that happens. It's the things that lead up to it, okay? My mom told me a story one time about her and one of my uncles, her brother. They used to come home from school and shit, this girl that was bigger than them used to beat them up both every day. Every day, just for no reason. Take a book bag and hit them in the back, kick them, shove them, throw dirt at them. No reason. Never did nothing to her. Nothing. She just was picking on them. And she said that one day, I think she said one of her aunts or one of her older cousins, however it was, saw them walking and saw the girl running across the street laughing and and them two walking home crying. All right, they were crying and said that relative told her, he asked her, did that girl bother you? And he like, yeah, and she hit us. And he's like, I'm going to tell you something. You better fight that girl back. It's two of y'all and one of her on top of that. She's bigger than y'all. But if y'all don't fight that girl back, I'm going to tell your mother. And you know what your mother going to do. And my mom told me that. My grandmother told her, I don't want you starting fights with nobody. But if somebody start with you, I don't care if you got to bite their eyelids off, gouge them in the eye. If you got to, you do what you better not come here talking about you let somebody stand here and punch on you. And, you better fight that girl back or anybody. You better fight back and defend yourself. And just two of y'all. Anybody worry about no damn street cred or no reputation. No, you're minding your business. Somebody jump on you, you better stick together and fight, whoever it is. Well, my mom said that after that, she was laying up in the bed, couldn't sleep all night. She was terrified. She was hoping that, said she landed praying that she don't see this girl no more because this girl was just like a thorn in their side. And she said they were coming home, whatever day, maybe it was the next day or whatever day it was. And she said that they didn't see the girl. They normally see her. And she said that she was thinking, thank you, Lord, thank you. And she said as soon as they got to the corner, here the girl comes. She was waiting for them. And she said at that moment, where normally her heart start pouncing, she said she got this warm feeling all over her body. And I know the feeling because I get it when I'm about to, you know. And she said that her stomach just, she got angry. The fear just went, like it was just non-existent. And she said when the girl came, she ran and jumped on her. And she said they rolled down the hill. She bit the girl. She was scratching her. She was biting her neck any way she can get on. She bit a chunk out of her neck. She said that girl was crying and screaming, please, I'm sorry, and whatever. And this girl got up and hauled ass. And my mom said the first thing that came to her mind made her so angry at herself. And she said the simple thought of, I should have did that shit a long time ago. Simple. So you understand, people will take advantage of your weaknesses. That's why all these guys that fight Anthony Joshua, or they talk about Anthony Joshua, always, he got a fragile mind, he's weak-minded. Yeah, we saw him go through the lack of confidence stage of his career. We've seen it. We've seen it. And they try to say that, hoping that it plays on his mentality and that it kicks in somewhere in the fight. But again, we saw him completely outbox Jermaine Franklin. Oh man, that was a trash performance. Jermaine Franklin ain't shit. Wait, y'all just praised Jermaine Franklin for giving a fucking good fight against Dillian White, and most of y'all said y'all thought he won. But now all of a sudden AJ beats him, and he didn't struggle at all. But Dillian did. Y'all even said Dillian White would beat Anthony Joshua. Oh, okay. Right, so this is what I'm saying. Wallin was talking that shit. He has a weak mind. He's not the same fight, right? They want that to be the case because they feel like they need that fuel. And if they can get the psychological advantage, it helps them to win easier. That's exactly what these people were hoping, and that's what Ngannou was banking on. That's probably what Mike Tyson was telling him. That's what Dewey Cooper was telling him. I don't think that his mind, he has he has a fragile mind. I don't think that he has it in him to really fight a tough fight anymore. Well, you saw the Wallin fight, and if you really thought in your mind that bullshit Johnny Nelson was saying, you see Johnny Nelson changed his tune now, right? He went from saying that he knew what AJ's not different. He just knew what he had to do because him and Wallin were sparring partners. Or you hear what Johnny Nelson is saying now, don't you? Yeah, completely different now, isn't it? And he said, depending on how AJ fights Ngannou will determine to him where AJ is. And I laughed at that shit and said, damn, Johnny, for somebody who was a former fighter and been around this sport, how could you be so fragile in the mind, man? You really think that Ngannou was as good as people that say you don't see the flaws in this guy? And this is why when these people talk, I would love to ask them, well, how the fuck would you train your fighter to fight Ngannou? Because you make it sound like this dude is a world beater. Ngannou, I know part of your mind still think, what crushed you is because part of you too, one, you lost, two, you feel like you let the MMA world down. Three, now connect what he said to what I said. When I said in the video, he in his mind felt like he had to resort to the MMA talk when he was arguing with Fury. If you better be glad you're lucky that the boxing rules protect you. If it's not for the boxing rules, and you're nothing in front of me. If this was MMA, it's not MMA. You see, that is the mentality. People, when I say things, I say it with a purpose. I study things, I analyze things. And like I said, people don't always see it right away, but then when the outcome happens or something else transpires, they go, damn, now I see what you mean, Aries. It's like, yes. You don't come into somebody's sport, talk all this bullshit, and then now you want to be a boxer, claim this is your dream. So why are you bringing up what you do to him in the MMA cage? That has nothing to do with in the boxing fucking ring. It's possible you get in the cage and still get stretched. Because you go for the takedown, get caught, bam, oh shit, he knocked him out. Just say it happens. Because you have strikers in an MMA cage that knock out these guys. Let's not forget, Chuck Liddell was no boxer. He knew how to defend takedowns. He was one of them guys, they get him down and he's right back up on his feet. So he was a striker. He wasn't a boxer. So what I'm saying, let's not take shit to the point where we're just saying shit that makes no sense. So when he says that, that's why I'm like, nah, that's a weakness. And that's a mental weakness. I'm trying to not, it's not so much he's trying to embarrass him, it's you talking shit, but I'd fuck you up. Because I know how to throw knees, elbows, and well, this is boxing, so there'll be no knees and elbows. You could say the same thing, Francis, if you was fighting Muay Thai. You can throw elbows and knee strikes. You can throw punches, but you can't take them down. You can't wrestle and do arm bars and all. So any sport where you can't do full MMA, you can say that shit to anybody. But you choose to go into that sport, then humble yourself and understand the discipline you need. This is boxing. Maybe somewhere in that ring, you feel like, damn, if only I could grab AJ, I could have won. If only if I could take him to the ground, I would. No, there's no need to think about MMA. Fuck that. You're in a ring. Now, that's why, too, like I'm saying, Clarissa stood there. I listened to D. Yamaguchi say she doesn't like Clarissa's attitude. She thinks she can just come into MMA and just win. It's so much to do. Okay, she'll learn, won't she? Why do you hold that, like, let that be something you hold in your heart? Why did you hold a grudge about that? Everybody learns something, well, not everybody. In certain situations. But let her learn. Now, what do you hear her saying? It's so much hard. It's harder than what I'm doing in boxing because I've been boxing. That's for my first love where I've been doing that. But this is like, it's so hard. She said she didn't even want to come back to the gym because it's different. Whereas with her, she here. Now she got to learn how to throw elbows and got to learn how to throw kicks and defend takedowns. And it's great to be well versed. Now imagine if she had Deontay's mentality with boxing, with MMA. What applies to other fighters don't apply to me. I don't need to know how to do takedowns. Now, she knows that her weakness in MMA right now, or her biggest weakness is her ground game. And she acknowledges that. And she has to work on it. That's, do you understand what I'm saying? She takes this serious. Okay? She takes this serious. Now, I'm not saying Ngannou doesn't take boxing serious, but Shields is definitely not doing this solely for the money. She's not making as much money in the PFL. Overall, what I'm saying, she's getting paid from both. So this also keeps the inactivity from kicking in because I have a reason to be in shape. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm in shape all year round because I'm boxing and I'm doing PFL. Do you understand? She's dedicated. Okay? She's dedicated. You don't hear Shields going, oh, well, the girl that beat me, fight me in the boxing ring. Yeah, if we was in the boxing ring, it'd be different. No, you're not. You chose MMA. You chose boxing. You chose to do both. So, yeah, you would beat in the boxing ring, but that's not what this is. You chose to do MMA. So this is my point. You don't need to bring up MMA. You're in the boxing ring. So, them motherfuckers, the MMA guys are like a fucking fraternity, man. They're like a fucking frat house, man. These motherfuckers are just, even if they don't like each other, they're going to back each other when it comes to them versus boxing. Because they want to be the superior sport. They want to be the superior athletes, the superior fighters. We're the only fighters. I tell you what, you see, a guy like Francis Ngannou, who got a chance to come in here and make more money than he's ever made in his whole career, 2 times. He said he's not quitting, and he actually said boxing owes him. And I wish he would have expounded on that, because I'm like, what the fuck does boxing owe you? Boxing gave you something MMA could never give you. What does boxing owe you? What do they owe you? Everybody needs a dance partner to go in there and make some big money, right? So what do they owe you? So he never explained that. But I would love to know what he meant by that. You know, either you just used a poor choice of words, or you meant what you said. Boxing owes you. Boxing doesn't owe you shit. What does boxing owe you? You came here and skipped the fucking line twice. You got fights in boxing that other guys have been trying to get for the longest. You got fights in boxing that guys had to go to court to get, take fighters to court to get. So what does boxing owe you? So that came out of his mouth. So if you think that means somehow you need another crack at another top guy, it'll be your funeral, man. And this is when you do that, you'll wear out your welcome and get to the point where this dude just came in and had a controversial fight, got knocked out, then just got knocked out again. Because who is it that you're going to fight? Who? Because if Francis Ngannou at 38 years old is not fighting top level guys. See, I told you guys, if Francis Ngannou would have went in there and fought AJ, and AJ would have fought him super cautious and trying to hit and hold and do the shit that people were suggesting, I'm like, man, these guys don't know shit. Y'all been in boxing, been around boxing all this time, and y'all are so uneducated. You guys don't know shit about this fucking sport that you're in. What kind of heart do y'all have? This is what I'm telling you, man. I'm not old school. I'm not new school. I'm true school, baby. You can't fucking tell me what the fuck I can't do. Now, in reality, I get to a point in my life where I just can't do certain things like I used to. I'm not stupid. I will know that. Okay, I will know that. But you're not going to put limitations on me. And well, maybe they're right. No, fuck you, her, and all of them for trying to dictate what I can and cannot do. So for Francis Ngannou, it's like the levels that you want to reach, you got a late start to all of a sudden where, well, I don't have the time to rebuild and not even rebuild, to build. Okay? No. So this line skipping style of if he would have looked good against AJ, yeah, they be putting him in the third fight like, hey, man, okay, 3 times the charm. He gets another crack at another top guy. Maybe they'd be trying to put him in there with Joseph Parker. Who knows? Well, I'm just saying, you know, when you say no excuses and then you start making excuses, I understand that the guy wanted to win, but he's really depressed. You know, he made a video a couple of months ago talking about he's a very lonely guy. It was a weird video to me. I understood what he was saying in the video, but it was like, okay, you know, you're training, you're focused on it, whatever. Yeah, okay, whatever. If you feel like all you have is your training, your fighting, and whatever, that's not good. You need some enjoyment in life. Okay, you need to fulfill other things. Like, you know, you can't live for people. You know, I told you guys, when AJ get this shit out of his system, trying to please all these fans and feeling like they're not respecting him no matter what he contributes, and the nice guys finish last. What I tell you about Aries, I'm a good guy, not a nice guy. Okay? I've given literally the shirt off my back to help people. I've given people places to stay, a roof over their head, book bags, shoe drives. I'm not no rich dude. I don't get money from no sponsors. My money that I go and punch a clock and work for, I help families. I help people get jobs. You understand what I'm saying? I do this. There's no organization. I do this on my own. So, you know, all of that type of stuff is like, okay, great. But you got to understand, man, like, in life, nothing lasts forever. Okay? Like, one day, Aries is going to die. You watching these videos, you're going to die. We're not going to always be here. Okay? Other people will continue to do what I'm doing. Other people will continue to do something else. One day, Roy Jones won't be doing commentary. Paulie Malignaggi, Max Kelly, all these, they won't be doing it. It'll be new fighters, new ring announcements, everything. Who knows? Netflix might be gone. There might be another king of streaming coming. Everything changes. So even when things remain, it remains, but with different people. So what I'm saying, if you're suffering in life, it don't last forever because one day you'll die. If you're happy in life, it won't last forever because one day you'll die. Life goes on with or without you. We are here for a short time on this earth, you know? Okay, so anyway, back to what I was saying. Like, look. Anyway, everything comes to an end. Nothing lasts forever, like I said. Everything we're doing right now, there's going to be something new, something that comes up different, all that. But life goes on with or without us. Like I said, everything comes and goes. Enjoy your time here on this earth. You losing a fight is not the end of the world, man. You connect your mind to people to the point where you feel like you owe them or they owe you, to where you're living your life trying to make people happy for the wrong reasons. And it gets to, because guess what? When you're no longer a draw, you're no longer a draw. It's that simple. There's a new you that comes along. So what people need to understand, you lost. You know, you had the heart to do it. You know, you tried, you gave it your best, you lost. That's all. And that's one of the things I respect about Kimbo Slice, man, because Kimbo wasn't no talker, man. It was people talking for him. Not so much for him, speaking their minds about him, good or bad. It wasn't Kimbo. Kimbo was just, he's ready to fight, man. That's all. I'm here to get this check, get this money. I fight for a living. That's what I do. I'm a fighter. I'm not a boxer. I'm not an MMA guy. I'm a fighter. I come to fight. And I couldn't help but respect Kimbo. This guy came off of a street fighting background. And made it to go in there with the pros. Most of us had to fight pros off camera. Most of us had shit happen that people have no idea even happened. Have no idea how talented we are. Never got the world didn't get to see it. But we know what we can do. We know what we can do. And you got guys running around here not understanding. This is something you do for a short while, man. And then you go on, it's another chapter in your life. That's all. Other things happen. You get yourself into something else. That's what happens. So I would say to Ngannou, man, no need to hold your head down. Just understand, if you're going to stay with this, it's a process. And if you walked into this like I believe you did, thinking that you were better than you were, thinking because you had a showing against Tyson Fury that had the world going, oh shit, this guy can fight it. Well, tell you what, now you know. Now you see, like when I say, even for Tyson Fury, to make the excuse to not fight AJ, saying Usyk beat him twice and I beat Wilder twice. That doesn't mean you can beat AJ. Right? We think Usyk can beat Wilder. But what if Wilder knocks him out? It's possible. You understand what I'm saying? It's possible. So because you beat Fury, you don't hear Usyk going. Fury beat Wilder. You don't hear Usyk going, well, I'm not fighting Wilder. I have no need, because Fury beat him twice. So what does that have to do with you? Now, in terms of Wilder or anybody else earning their spot to get a title shot, that's one thing, whether you deserve it or not. But in terms of basing, I'm not going to fight him because he beat him, or because that has nothing to do with you. So when you fight these different styles, when you fight these different guys, see, this is why AJ has losses, because he's fighting nothing but the best guys. And, this is my point. But we watch him get better. We watch him rebound, and it's like, okay, AJ's back. Ain't no more questioning. Because let me tell you something. The uncomfortable AJ, the unsure AJ wouldn't have did what he did last night. He would have gotten there, got on the back foot, jab move, and got his shots in, grab, and move, and like what people would have been saying that they think he had to do would have been more similar to that. This AJ realized who the fuck he is now. And he goes out there and does what Fury could not do. He did what needed to be done for himself, for boxing. And as far as Ngannou goes, keep your head up and just do what you have to do. If you're going to stay with this, understand there's a lot of learning that you need. A lot of it. A whole lot of it. So now the reality should hit you. Okay? What you did with Fury was what you did with Fury on that night. There's a lot that you have to learn. You're not a deity. You're not superhuman. You're not special. You're still a big, strong dude that got in the ring and got your ass slept the way people didn't think was going to happen. So now, based on what you did with Fury, and you heard him several times talk about how giving himself credit because of how good Fury is. So he didn't think AJ was going to pose that kind of threat. Dewey Cooper didn't think he was going to pose that kind of threat. Bottom line. So they had to learn the hard way. And if you're going to stick with it, understand, hey man, listen, it's your choice. You got PFL, you got boxing. If you want to do both, understand, you got a lot to learn. So the same way Clarissa Shields, okay, is the best at what she does in women's boxing, and MMA she's not. And there's a lot she has to learn. The same way how in MMA, you're one of the top dogs. In boxing, you're not. There's a lot to learn. Simple. It's called humbling yourself and understanding. Hey, man, you know what? See, words can sound impressive and people can like your attitude, but when reality really kicks in, you get it. Like what AJ said, it just clicked what I need to do. Yeah. It takes your journey to get you there. Like my mom getting beat up every day, her and her brother, my uncle, by this girl, and it didn't just click on her. All the ass whoopings, she got tired of it. She's thinking about it, and then her aunt or older cousin, like I said, whoever, let her know, if you don't fight that girl back, I'm gonna tell your mother. And she was more worried about what her mom would do than that girl. And when she seen her, that's when it all just added up. You know, like in movies, when somebody's fighting and they get to that point where they're getting their ass whooped or something, and they start hearing the voice of their trainer or somebody talking to them, and then all of a sudden they get to that point in the fight where, now it's my time. And they get up and start beating the hell out this person and win, and everybody's celebrating the end. It's one of those moments. Yeah, it just, okay, now I get it. And that's what Francis Ngannou will have to do. Now, unfortunately for him, because of his age, he doesn't have a long time. And that's just the way it is. So you're going to have to at some point pick and choose. And at some point, MMA is not going to be there for him anymore. Can't do it forever. And I'm saying, there's no need to hold your head down. You lost, man. That's all. Nobody wants to lose, no, but you lost. It is what it is. You can't take it back. You got paid handsomely for this fight. You got paid handsomely for your last fight. So, you need to get to the back of the line if you're going to stay in boxing. You understand what I'm saying? Kimbo Slice didn't come into boxing demanding you put me up in the front. No, he didn't come here just so he can get knocked out by Klitschko. He didn't come here just so he can get knocked out by Holyfield or Lennox Lewis. No, he didn't come in and no. He started from the bottom and started working his way up, and then had an unfortunate, death, and he died. But other than that, no. And like I said, in MMA, there was no easy fights for him in UFC or Bellator. There was none. There was none. So you could go to the lowest of the lows and it still would be a tough fight for Kimbo at that stage of his career, in his life, in those two federations. So at the end of the day, it's one of these things where boxing wins. Yes, MMA people hate that. Boxing won. That's why Dewey Cooper and all them look so down in that, because it's like, they don't want to see boxers win. Way back when Floyd Mayweather was fighting McGregor, and they asked Shane Mosley and these guys, they trained McGregor and all, and I'm like, look at these sellouts. Y'all so fucking jealous and so full of hate that y'all would actually train this motherfucker who clearly did not respect boxing. Conor McGregor disrespected boxing so much that he had his striking coaches working with him. He didn't even go to pro boxers for help. They got pillow-fisted Paulie Malignaggi to spar with. Why? Because they know that this motherfucker couldn't punch his way through a fucking wet paper bag. Wasn't in shape and wanted to try to, use their little clips to embarrass him to say, look at what he did to a boxer. You understand what I'm saying? So, for you to know this guy don't even respect boxing, what the fuck would I train him for? See, now, a person can have a change of heart later on down the years or whatever. Who knows? But at that time, no, he definitely wasn't respecting boxing. I got my striking coaches. What the fuck can a boxing that I don't need them to teach me nothing. That's what this motherfucker wanted to come in there and make a statement. That I beat you with MMA tactic striking, not boxing striking. Look what happened, right? Floyd carried him. Floyd got in there and played with him. Floyd wasn't even in shape. If you remember that shit, like, come on, Floyd gets toned, cutting up. Floyd didn't even take this motherfucker serious. And that's where I felt like, represent your sport right, Floyd. Go in there and get rid of this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Floyd is a technical wizard. That's his thing. So it wasn't so much about a knockout for him, but for me, it was just like, I didn't give a fuck about that fight. But it's like, if you're going to do it, don't fucking play around. Go in there and handle business. And this is what AJ did. And that's why at the time I said, when they was talking about Canelo fighting against McGregor, I said, yeah, that's what need to happen. So Canelo could go in there and knock his jaw off his fucking face. Because these guys clearly don't respect boxing. And the thing about it was, McGregor didn't look at it like, this is a win for me as a boxer. No, this is a win for MMA. Because I'm an MMA guy and I went in there and beat the best boxer in the world. See, this is what people don't get. There's no real camaraderie in boxing. No real loyalty. Well, this world is just becoming that now. That people are just, lost their damn minds. But no, plain and simple. And I'd have told him, no, I'm not training you because you don't respect boxing. And you want to use me to help train you to beat one of our own. So you can go back and hold your hand high and say, I did this for MMA. Like when Dana White was back there, I'm so fucking proud of you, man. Man, that's a moral victory. You fought the best boxer. Oh, now he's the best fighter in the world. Now. But y'all don't like to be called, like for a boxer to be called that on any other terms. But because he just beat your ass and stopped you and you was 30 pounds heavier than him, now all of a sudden you beat the best fighter in the world. Like, yeah, okay, right. But bottom line is, I don't care whether you like Francis Ngannou or not. I don't care if you like AJ or not. That's not what this is about. This is just about the right thing to do. And for Ngannou, you still have your thing with the PFL. You need to keep your focus so you don't go in there, with the wrong mindset, not focused, depressed, and then go in there and then lose that too. So, just keep your focus, man. But understand, now boxing is not as easy as you thought it was. Because remember, I know I can do this. I know I can do this. And when he fought Fury, I know, fuck yeah, I can do it. I'm not going to. Yeah. You see, he walked away from that fight with Fury thinking he was better than he is. You don't think Aries saw that? You don't think I've been on this earth long enough to hear and analyze things and understand what somebody's mindset is? And I told you, he need for somebody to beat the fuck out of him in that boxing ring so he understand to stop playing with boxing. Because he's not a boxer. He's a guy that has some boxing knowledge, have some boxing experience, but he's speaking like he's up here. Like I said, when I made the video about Jake Paul, he's standing up there getting ready to fight a 60-fucking-year-old Mike Tyson. I know he's 57, rounded off like I said before. A 60-year-old Mike Tyson. But he wouldn't fight Francis Ngannou, who's still considerably older than him, and a heavyweight, and has less fights than him. And the same way, Jake Paul is going to, now, don't get me wrong, the exception is Francis Ngannou jumped in there and had the heart to go fight these guys, whereas Jake Paul don't have the heart to do it. he wouldn't even fight Francis Ngannou because Francis Ngannou would knock him the fuck out, and he knows that. He wouldn't. And he's older, right? Yeah, he tried to make Hassan Rahman get down to a weight that he knew was going to be too low for him. A weight he never even fought at as a heavyweight. He wanted him to try to get down, and he knew like this is going to be a challenge for him. Hassan Rahman is lazy. Everybody knew that. He's lazy as fuck. What has he done since then? Nothing before the 300-pound guy got knocked the fuck out, and we haven't heard a peep from Hassan Rahman Jr. since, right? So, and I'm campaigning as a Bridgerweight, but his weight is around 215, 220. So to try to get him down to a weight that his lazy ass can't get down to, he was trying to get every advantage that he can. So now for Jake Paul to say, I'm a real boxer as of right now. For you guys in the boxing community to say he's a real boxer, then stop fucking pumping his head up to make him think it's okay to fight 60-year-old guys who we seen at 38 get destroyed, get crushed, and say, I don't have the heart for this anymore, and I'm going to retire. I'm not going to continue to, disgrace boxing like that. And you think that fucking 2-3 decades later, this motherfucker's a better fighter all of a sudden, or he's rejuvenated. Oh, he's a phenomenal. I don't care how many muscles or what. I don't care about none of that shit. You understand what I'm saying? These guys are using boxing to build their own brands. And you fucking so-called boxing enthusiasts, boxing lovers don't even see this shit. This shit's disgraceful. So, yeah. There's nothing to feel bad about. Francis Ngannou got what he deserved. Like, straight up. This is what boxing needed, man. Remember when they had that WCW versus NWO storyline? Remember when Scott Hall was fresh out of the WWE and came there and talked about, we're coming for you. What do you mean we? You know who. Remember? Big Scott Hall, yeah, you know who. And everybody had this, oh shit, they sending WWE guys over there. Like that was the first thought they had. So there's Sting, their hero, coming from the rafters, yeah. Yeah, so Sting had to beat Hollywood Hogan. This was for WCW, right? That's what you just got last night. Okay, that's what you got last night. Boxing needed its hero to do what it did. And that was Anthony Joshua restoring order back in the heavyweight division. Put it into the circus show. In all honesty, like I said, if he wants to stay, continue to box, fine, but get to the back of the line. Or pack your bags, go back to MMA. This skipping the line shit, I mean, you came here and made 2 massive paydays. So when I hear you say boxing owes you, boxing don't owe you shit, man. Boxing gave you something you never earned. And that's a fucking fact. Anyway, talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I will catch y'all on the next video.